Okay, regular fumble. We're playing you next. Will you fumble? That's the question. I don't have a mouse, so a little slow moving, hence 2+2. Fair. Absolutely fair. E4. I will try not to flag you. We're going to play a King's Gambit. How about that? How about that? King's Gambit time. Except, will they go for G5? They do. Bishop D4. Play G4. This is theory, guys. This is actually theory. You sack the knight, take here, it's called the Muzio. With D4, it's called the Ghulam Qasim. Muzio Gambit basically points everything at F7. That's a good move. Isn't this theory still? This might still be theory. Takes queen here. Do we go here? Here. I think this is still theory. E5, sack the pawn, sack the bishop. I think this is sack another pawn. I think this is called the double Muzio. They didn't take. Okay, but then we play takes here. The point is that after they take here, we block with the bishop because this is pinned. This is still theory. This is the double Muzio sacrifice. We're going to take with the bishop here. And this king is in trouble. And now, unfortunately, I believe the queen's lost. Bishop e3. We hit the king, hit the queen. You can play queen f6. But then, unfortunately... I mean, we are 2 pieces down, by the way. But unfortunately, queen to h5 check, I think, hits the king. There's the rook here. Although they don't find that, unfortunately. Yeah, this is disgusting. The Muzio double sacrifice line. I believe Alexei Shirov was the one that popularized this. This is at least where I first saw it, and now checkmate from range. Let me just analyze that game quickly because that was disgusting. One sec. I'm gonna request a computer analysis. Okay, so you just watched that footage from the live stream and you're thinking, right, I just saw a 15-move game, a 15-move checkmate, in fact, where there were 5 sacrifices. 1/3, 1 in 3 of the moves were sacrifices. How can that have been very accurate? Well, we're going to go through it now and I'm going to show you that that was basically a perfect game. The reason being that a lot of the sacrifices were actually prep. This is what you get if you play the King's Gambit, which of course is what we played here. So the move F4 in and of itself is sort of a sacrifice. It's the sacrifice of a pawn, or the gambit of a pawn rather. And after takes, we go knight to F3 here. Now, you're not guaranteed to be able to win this pawn back. In the Queen's Gambit, I think accepting it is generally not preferred. Almost always black will tend to play the declined variation of the Queen's Gambit. However, the King's Gambit, almost always the best way to play against it is to accept it, because it is actually slightly more of a dubious opening. You don't really see it much at top level play. I think actually Hikari might have played it against Magnus recently, maybe in the Norway chess. Might be wrong, let me know in the comments. Anyway, the best idea is to accept it, and after playing knight to f3 here, the most common and most aggressive move for black, it is known as the classical variation, is playing g5. Now, quite uncommonly, the classical variation is still the most popular variation at the top level. As I've said, the King's Gambit generally not played at the top level, but this is a beautiful opening. If I could get an accepted King's Gambit every time, I would just play the King's Gambit all the time. And the top moves here in this position are playing h4, d4, knight c3, and bishop to c4. Now, obviously, all of these moves are super aggressive. h4 is a very critical line, which I think forces g4, and then you can hop in, eventually take back the pawn on g4 here. The way I prefer, as you saw, bishop to c4. Now, the point of this move is we are completely ignoring the fact that they are going to play g4. Obviously, as you just saw, after they do play g4, we're not going to move our knight. We could move our knight. I mean, knight to e5, it's a very good move. Going straight after f7 here, and after queen h4, you actually have to play king f1, because g3 you can lose your rook. And then there's some really dank lines with knight h6, defending this. It's an absolute mess, but really exciting stuff. What's more exciting is playing the second sacrifice of the game and just castling. Who cares about the knight here? And you see, after we castle, this is a game played by Hikari Nakamura, the GOAT, in 2010. Many very, very strong players have gone for this. It is super interesting. And the point is, of course, after they take, we recapture with the queen, top master move, of course, And if we take a step back from the position, we've sacrificed a knight and a pawn, and we've got back the pawn by recapturing on f3, and we will win back the pawn on f4. So we're down a full knight here. This is important to note because there are many factors that determine the strength of a position in chess. Now, I'm going to make a bit of a video series on this soon, going through the main factors to basically look at a position and tell if you're winning or losing. I think it's going to be really interesting, quite abstract and conceptual stuff that I'm going to be going for. But for now, black's obviously up on material, a full piece. However, white has everything pointing at f7 here. White's development is huge, white's king safety is massive, and after queen to f6, this is actually the top master move here. 37 out of the 40 games we see queen to f6. We can exploit this king even further, and as you saw, we sacrifice another pawn here, diverting the queen away from the defense of f7, and bishop takes f7. Of course we're going to play bishop takes f7. This is the double Muzio gambit. Originally, we played the Muzio gambit, which is sacrificing the knight. You can also play the Ghulam Qasim playing d4 instead of bishop c4. The double Muzio, sack the bishop on f7, and you have to take with the king here pretty much. If you move the king anywhere else, you're just not claiming the bishop, and your king has to move. The advantage of sacrificing this bishop, that is an initial pawn, a knight, another pawn, and a bishop. We've sacrificed nearly a queen's worth of material, but look at the f-file and look where the king is. So what we're basically saying is, yes, we've sacrificed 2 minor pieces and 2 pawns, but your minor pieces and your pawns, what are they actually doing? You haven't moved any of your other pieces. Your king is one of your most developed pieces, and that is never a good thing, because here we can play, this is the only real playable move in this position, d4. We attack the queen, and the point is, if the queen took, which didn't happen in the game, then we play bishop e3, which looks like another sacrifice, but it's not, because this is of course pinned, and this is just extremely dangerous. If we see bishop to e3 and then they take on b2, I'm pretty sure they just lose. Yeah, queen takes f4, and you are completely finished. If you block with the queen, then we can go queen d4 check, rook's attacking the queen, and yeah, you are not going to survive this position here. Knight c3, rook comes in, king's super weak, and although black is still up material, if we just track this through a little, okay, let's say you want to hold on to your pawn like this, then queen h4, bishop e7, and let's say rook e1. And apparently this is +8. What if the king tries to run? What happens here? Just everything's pinned. If the rook comes in here, then we're just taking, king here, taking. Yeah, it's just bullying the black king, effectively. But the point is that in our game, the queen went back. We then, of course, took here on f4, opening up the f-file finally. Opponent took the pawn. And as you see, the evaluation bar hates it. The advantage is +8.2 as we step back with the bishop, attacking the king, discovered check, attacking the queen. If they'd gone queen f6, as I said, queen h5 would have won the queen. We don't even have to take the queen, by the way. We can play moves like knight to c3, and it's still completely finished for our opponent. However, we obviously can take the queen, knight takes, and then play a nice little pinning move here. The king's getting sliced, knight c3, rook f1's coming. We're completely winning here. And even if you stack up as much defense as possible on this, we're going to see queen g5, king comes in here, then take, then rook f1. And if you want to carry on defending the bishop, then we're going to hit you with this. And it's just, this is mate in 9. Go on, let's treat ourselves, just for the fun of it. Just for the c6, knight e4, king c7. We're just looking at the most resilient, the king just has to keep running. b4, a5, check, king c7, knight d6, look at this. Knight a6, check, here, mate. Absolutely disgusting king hunt level stuff. However, as you see, if we go all the way back, our opponent blocked with the knight, allowing us to take the queen here. Bishop defends, and here, takes. There are 2 moves. One of them ends in a variety of checkmates. We could play this one, or this one. 3 different mate in ones. And the other, of course, ends in that range, that sniper, from all the way on the other side of the board. How often do you deliver checkmate from literally as far away as possible? This is as far away from another thing as you can be in chess, because the diagonal, geometry breaks down. Pythagoras, he's not having any of it. This is 8 as well. What's going on? A plus. But yeah, I thought it would be interesting to take a bit of a deep dive into that game. It was basically a perfect game because up until, let me just try back, up until this move was played, we were still in 9 different master level games. This is theory. There's a game played by Alexei Shirov here with the white pieces, and black's supposed to play a move like queen f5, but then after this, you're still facing problems. The point of queen f5, not queen f6, is to be able to play knight to f6, and then you know, it's more resilient for black. It's still, you know, we've given up 5 material, and it's only a 2.3 evaluation. Really, really interesting stuff. But I just thought I would share this game because after they went back, taking the bishop, going here, taking the queen, and then we're going to ignore the mate in 8. And we're going to say that this was the best move, and that was a perfect game. So I think what I'll probably do is add in a few extra bonus clips from the stream just to make the video a bit longer, get that good ad revenue. If you guys want to stick around and watch that, there was some pretty funny stuff. I got absolutely slapped by a guy called Simon in my stream, if you want to stick around and see that. But if not, and you're going to leave the video after this bit, thanks very much for watching. But stick around for the bonus clips. Give me the ad revenue. I might intermittently just play like one bullet game, try and get my rating, just win one game, get my rating back up to, oh! I didn't really calculate this properly, but I think there's some Oscar level acting. Surely this works with this beautiful knight. Where's my mate? Here. Do I actually have a mate? Okay, we're gonna give the check. Here, where's my mate? I might be blind. Okay, we're just gonna go here. And then the king's in a box right now. With a beautiful knight here. You've got to assume that we're in business. Oh, a queen sack. I got a lot of respect for that to escape the mate. However, now we're gonna give a check. We could pick up a rook, but I'm thinking it's more stylish. Give another check. Give a check here. I have no time. I should have given this check. Will, what is maths student favourite season? What is a maths student's favourite season? Winter, summer. Summer? Like sun? If that's the joke, that's poor Hashim, I'll be honest. As we deliver the sauciest checkmate with a couple of bishops. Oh my goodness. Alright, Playboy Kai, thanks for the game. Maybe stick to music. And actually drop music. Drop all the good music. Oh my god, I'm gonna flag. Check. Here. I just need to anchor down my bishop. Here we go. Anchor the bishop, remove the check. Yeah, there we go. Now I gain a bit of time. Sack the rook because I can still win these, hopefully. Just for the culture, purely for the interesting points. Check. Here. 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 There's gonna be stalemate soon. I shouldn't have said that, I've just jinxed it. No, wait, here, check. I'm gonna go round maybe. Here. Look how dumb this is, guys. Check. Mate. No, it's not mate yet. That's mate. Oh my god. Oh. Nearly just flagged. I can't believe I actually, I nearly fumbled that. That was so dumb. Okay, shoot me. Thanks for the game, mate. They are 1300. Do they know? Do they know what's going on here? Do they know the technique? Do they know the greatest combination of all time? Oh my god, don't do it, Simon. Simon, don't do it. Simon, don't do it. Simon, don't do it, Simon! Ah! Simon! Right, guys, can we just get W's in the chat for Simon? Round of applause. He knew the pattern. Oh!